So after giving mad praise to this game's predecessor, Jedi Order, there was no doubt in my mind that I would be covering the sequel to the game. I mean, to some people, this is some of the best Star Wars storytelling that we've gotten since Disney took over the franchise. And I kind of agree with that. Now, me personally, I did enjoy Force Awakens, Mandalorian, and even the heavily criticized Acolyte to some extent. So yes, the Jedi series is fantastic and definitely a perfect fit for the Star Wars series. So Jedi Survivor, this game takes place about 5 years after the events of Fallen Order, and if you know how that game ended, in this game we're still playing as our guy Cal Kestis, and our objective is not only to fight but to hide from the Empire and their ruling over the galaxy, while still attempting to locate other Jedis and uncover more information regarding them. The plot to me was on par with the first game, and without spoiling anything, there was a lot, and I mean a lot, that happened, and let's just say this third game in the trilogy, it's gonna be insane. There are some new characters that we're introduced to in this game alongside some familiar faces. And without spoiling it for those who have not played this, let's just say there are some major, and I mean major character moments in this game that I just can't spoil for you. Let's just say this, some moments had my jaw to the floor as I was witnessing what was going on. And what's actually happening in the game will have some effects on the next game in its story. But story-wise, this game is great, and if you enjoy Jedi Order, I promise you you'll enjoy Jedi Survivor. Now, moving on to the gameplay, Jedi Survivor retains the Souls-like gameplay with a heavy emphasis on parrying and being able to predict and time your enemy's movements. Cal is also way more capable this time around, and as a result, I found fighting many common stormtroopers and other regular enemies just much easier than before. With improved force powers and maneuvers, this game would definitely give you an easier time in Jedi Order, but only in the terms of common enemies. Now, the boss fights, that is a different story. Many of the boss fights in this game were really challenging for me and tested my skills to the fullest. For example, those fights with Degangara, yikes, and the boss fight with Ravis. Man, there are a few other tough boss fights, but due to spoilers, we'll just say this. Be prepared, because some of these, they'll give you run for your money. Now, what is also cool, Cal has multiple lightsaber stances, the single blade, the double-sided blade, and a heavy blade-like stance, which can be used based on whatever situation you find yourself in. In my playthrough, I found the single blade and the heavy blade was all I really needed to overcome most of my challenges. You also have the return of the skill tree, which now has so many different paths and options to choose from based on your playstyle. That's a plus. Now, this game still retains its love for exploration and traversal, and even more so with these planets being so huge, giving Jedi Survivor a more open world feel instead of linear. Now, I've beaten the main story of this game, but I've yet to really explore these planets in their entirety. There's so much I still need to discover. Now, one thing I did notice, there wasn't really many puzzles like it was in the first game. Jedi Order kind of felt like Zelda or Tomb Raider with the puzzles you would find within the Jedi temples. Here, I feel like things are more about exploration, discovery, and action, and not so much puzzles, which is interesting. Cal also gets some new traversal moves, which makes him pretty much a platforming king. Air dashing, like Mega Man X is an example. Presentation is still on point. Now, I will say this game is absolutely gorgeous and runs great on modern hardware. It also got a re-release on the last gen fairly recently, and from what I read, those games run perfectly fine. So that's a plus. The game is a little more glitchy than the previous installment, with instances of pop-in and minor hiccups here and there, but nothing really that affected my gameplay or alter anything. As always, I played this game in performance mode and had no issues whatsoever. So overall, Jedi Survivor is easily one of the best current gen games on the market. The story, the gameplay, the presentation, everything just hits all the marks. There's no way I was going to let this one rest on my backlog, and I'm glad I finally got to it to review it for you guys. Remember, if this is your first time viewing my channel, make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I will see you guys next time, and thank you for your support. Peace.